There once lived a poor beggar who survived by asking for alms from passengers traveling in trains. One day, while he was begging, he noticed a tall man in a suit. The beggar thought, "This man looks rich. If I ask him, he will surely give me good money." He approached the tall man and begged. The man looked at him and said, "You are always asking. Do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I am only a beggar. I always take from others. I have nothing to give." The tall man said firmly, "If you cannot give anything, you have no right to ask either. I am a businessman. I believe only in give and take. If you have something to offer, only then I will give you something in return." Saying this, the tall man boarded the train and left. The beggar kept thinking about his words. Slowly, those words began to touch his heart. He thought, "Maybe I never get much money in alms because I have nothing to give in return. But I am just a beggar. What can I possibly give others?" For 2 days, he kept searching for an answer. On the third day, while sitting near the station, his eyes fell on some flowers blooming nearby. Suddenly, an idea struck him. Why not give flowers in return for alms? He picked a few flowers and went to the train. Now, whenever someone gave him money, he would offer them flowers in return. Passengers accepted them happily, often keeping them as a token. Soon, he realized that more and more people were willing to give him alms when he offered flowers. This became his daily practice. He collected flowers each morning and distributed them in exchange for alms. If his flowers ran out, people stopped giving him money. One day, while he was begging, he saw the same tall man in the train, the one who had inspired him. Excited, the beggar rushed to him and said, "Today, I have something to give you in return. If you give me alms, I will give you flowers." The tall man gave him some money, and the beggar, in return, offered flowers. The man smiled and said, "Wonderful! Today you're no longer just a beggar. You have become a businessman just like me." Those words filled the beggar with joy. His eyes sparkled as he thought, "Yes, I am not a beggar anymore. I can be a businessman. I can be rich." He shouted aloud with excitement, "I am not a beggar. I am a trader." People nearby thought he had gone mad. From the next day, the beggar disappeared from the station. 6 months later, at the same station, 2 men in suits were traveling. They greeted each other politely. One asked, "Do you recognize me?" The other shook his head. "No, I don't think we've met before." The first man smiled and said, "We have met twice already on this very train. I am the beggar you once refused to give alms, and later the same beggar who gave you flowers in return." The second man was surprised and said, "Oh yes, I remember now. But tell me, how are you dressed like this today? What are you doing these days?" The former beggar replied proudly, "I am no longer a beggar. I am now a successful flower trader. After our meeting, I realized that people were not giving me alms. They were actually paying for my flowers. I was never a beggar. I was already a small trader, but I didn't see it that way. With the money I earned, I bought more flowers and started a business. Today, I run a large flower business, and I'm traveling to expand it further." The tall man nodded with satisfaction. The two shook hands and walked together, sharing stories of their trades